Hello, hey everyone, my name is creatively Anzy, or just Anzy, and I'm the founder of MelaninGamers, and welcome to MelaninGamers mini game reviews, yay! Today we're reviewing Forspoken, and we want to thank our friends over at Square Enix for sending us this game to review. Personally, for me, when I first saw the trailer for Forspoken, I was so excited. Black woman, she has magic, I was all over that all day long. She looked really cool, and I'm a huge fan of RPGs. Anyway, I thought, yep, I'm going to play this game, and play I did. So this is the bio for the game. It goes as follows. This is an action RPG role-playing game in which players save Athia and its inhabitants with newly found magical enhanced combat and parkour skills. Can't stress how cool the parkour skills are. It's pretty fun to climb. It's pretty fun to climb over walls and jump over obstacles and all that sort of thing. The start of the game really sets up the origin. Frey is an orphan girl from New York City. She lives with her cat. Not the best, she's too young to be already living with her and her cat. She has finally saved up enough to move out of the mean streets of New York when, oh no, disaster strikes. Her house catches on fire, and she loses all the money that she's been able to save up. And she has to give away her cat as well because she can't afford to keep the thing anymore. It's not looking good at all. And it's not looking good. And she goes to Holland Tunnel and contemplates her own reality, because why wouldn't you, after losing all of that money and your cat as well? She goes to Holland Tunnel because that's where her parents left her. I did say she was an orphan. So she's actually Frey Holland. They named her after the tunnel. And while she's having this very dreary pity party, she sees a flash of light and follows this flash of light, because why not? And she's transported to the magical world of Athia. Cue a magical talking bracelet. Because obviously it's a magical world, a magical talking bracelet makes sense, doesn't it? Who wants to be referred to as Vambrace? I would say bracelet was more of a cuff. Suddenly her life is very different. No longer the unwanted orphan, oh no, because Frey can now do magic. Hello, she can do magic now. She's not some orphan who has nothing. She's a magician, thanks to Vambrace. And she can, not only that, she can survive in a thing called the Break. Not the most imaginative name for an area of land that literally breaks you down into dust if you are human or other things, or mutates you if you are a creature. Causing the inhabitants of the world to move to the last remaining place that's actually livable. That's the citadel that they're living in. That's also the inhabitants of that world of Athia live in Citadel because they can't survive. No one can survive in the Break apart from Frey. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop her from getting arrested. She cannot catch a break, can she? And we're told the backstory of the place, the rulers, and all that sort of stuff. They decide that Frey is too dangerous is not dangerous enough to execute, but it's not safe enough to leave roaming around, so they just lock her up and toss her in a cell. There is a woman there who does vouch for Frey and be like, oh my gosh, what? We shouldn't do this. She survived in the Break, but that's kind of scares people because, how the hell did she survive in the Break? She must be a monster, because only the monsters can survive in the Break. So reasoning is, pretty sound. But the healer, aka Auden, has her own agenda. She rescues Frey, and then they strike up a deal, which is the main premise of the story, is this deal that they strike up. Since Frey is immune from the Break, Auden wants Frey to enter the Break and find her father's journals that may hold the cure to saving the entire magical world. Now, Frey isn't altruistic enough to do it out of the goodness of her heart. She needs to be incentivized, because she wants to go back to New York. Why? I don't know, when she can do magic. But she wants to go back to New York, and so Auden is like, well, if you find my father's journals that can save all of our magical realm, I will give you the means or the information, the journals that my father also has, to create a sort of portal that would take her back to New York. I don't know why she'd want to return, but there's that part of the story. There's magic. Hello, Frey. Big picture here, big picture. It's the coolest thing ever, and you have magic, and you're magic evolves as you complete missions. You can do different things, different like cool flashy stuff, defeating enemies, finding out like mapping where sort of around where you are with your brace as well. And you can gain RP by like killing enemies and like leveling up your magic, which is so cool. And there's also like magic infused parkour. You did hear that correctly. There is magic infused parkour. Let me sit up a little bit straighter because it's so cool. So it's like her parkour is embedded with like stardust. She can run faster, leap out of a building. It's like a parkour person's dream. So getting from one point to the other is like much cooler and way faster too. So yeah, that is probably one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so it's nice to look at, like the world of the game. The start of the game does offer you 3 different choices, like in terms of like what you want to do, so that maybe if your monitor can't handle or your TV can't handle like rendering this in 4K, there are lower or higher settings and that sort of stuff. It's nice, the scenery, but I wouldn't say it was like dazzling, you know? And that's because that's something that I really pay attention to when I'm playing a game is the scenery, because I'm just like, I like to look around and stuff. So I found that I wasn't really doing that in this game. I'm not saying that it's not nice, but I found that I was like, oh my god, staring. What I did like about the game, well, the magic. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I've said magic so many times. I love magic. Fantasy is probably one of my favorite genres in any medium, books, shows, that kind of things, games. So it's very cool to have like a black protagonist and be magical. And I generally mean that like she was like a magical woman. It was so cool to like be playing this like a black woman and she does magic and like, hello, this is me. So I found like that was a lot of why I was attracted to this game when I first saw it, and it was really nice also playing her as well. So that was like a lot of fun for me. It was fun to shoot like lasers from my face. You don't actually shoot lasers from my face. If you do shoot like stardust though, so that's actually quite cool. It was fun taking down baddies with like your powers. It was fun running around with like parkour infused stardust. All of that sort of stuff was really interesting, really good, and like stuff. The story that I really enjoyed, as well. What I think can be improved, the dialogue at times was a bit raised my eyebrow. You know, like do people really talk like this? I don't know. I'm not American. She is from New York. Her cuff thing, Mr. Van Brace, was sometimes kind of rude. And I was like, is this necessary? I was like, okay, I'm just dying to baddies over here. But please do criticize me. So it was just like, it was a bit, I feel like a bit too on the, I don't know if it was too on the nose or, I didn't read, their interactions wasn't always the best. It didn't sound very smooth. And one thing that like I thought was just really frustrated me was every time there's a cutscene, there's a little pause. Every single time. Like there's a tiny little pause. I can't tell you how annoying I found that. I don't know if that was just me or if it was in the game in general. So after like your cutscene, you're frozen for a bit and you have to wait. It's like a minor thing. It's very minor. But there are so many cutscenes, that's the thing. And so it was happening every single time. So it's like, and there was no option to skip either. So it's like, what's going on here? So that really frustrated me, because it kept happening after the cutscenes. Like you're frozen in place for a second. I guess I'm not sure, but it was like a really annoying like feature for me, because I just really wanted to like play the game. And I know it's like a millisecond, but it's just like when it happens all the time, it's like, is this gonna keep happening? Would I recommend this game? Yes, I would. Of course I would. Despite what I believe is largely exaggerated negative reviews. So I know that this game has received a lot of mixed reviews, and some of the negativity is just, I'm not sure. I feel like there's a bit of an exaggeration. So I went into playing this game with like, I guess, trying not to ignore those like different things. And at first I was just like, oh. And then I found myself like, from the excitement that I had, I really built up this game quite highly in my head, because I was just like, to do magic, to see a black woman doing magic, for her to be the main protagonist, that meant a lot to me, and it still does, and it did, and I've really enjoyed. That was one of the like parts of this game that I really liked, and so I feel like some of the negativity is based on that aspect of the game. you know, and people aren't looking at the game objectively. They're like, oh, they're looking at the game from that side of things. Based on some of the things I have read personally, I think that's where some of them is being like blown out of proportion. You know, people are using quite a lot of hyperbolic language when they're talking negatively about the game, and I'm just like, people, please just relax and enjoy this RPG because it's a lot of fun, and it is a fun game to play. You're shooting magic and stuff, you're running around parkouring all over the place, and so that part is like really nice and really interesting. So it's just like, enjoy it for what it is, you know, and I think if you go into it like that, you will have a very good time, because I did. I had a really good time when I was playing it, and I actually played over, because usually I will spend like, I like to review a game, I think it should take about 10 hours. And so I was like, I found myself at the beginning, I was like, this is good. And then I was like, oh, it is! Like, I was going over time. And I was like, let me get this review out. So that just goes to show that if you just take something as it is, you'll have a good time, as opposed to, like, I guess, listening to all these different people or that kind of stuff. So I feel like people should try out the game for themselves, and they'll find out they actually maybe really enjoy it. But I personally would recommend this game. It is available on PlayStation 5 and also on PC. Thank you for watching. Yay! Please let it's my first review of the year for this year. Please let me know your thoughts on this game in the comments below. I'm very curious as to what people think, if they've played it, what they've read, if they've watched some gameplay, what they think as well, if they're into RPGs. Fantasy. So yeah, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Check out our site MelaninGamers.com, and check out our socials on Twitter and Instagram and also TikTok. Hey, see you all later. Bye.